This is Brunch, Blaze, and Babble,
where we eat, elevate, and talk about
media trends from the past,
the present,
and the future
from a Black perspective.
I'm your host, Roger Turner.
And I'm your host, Alexis Bertrand.
So sit back,
spark up,
and let's get into it. Hey, Alexis.
Hey, Roger, baby. How are you doing?
I am feeling fiery and tingly. I
Ooh,
am
fiery and tingly.
So ready to go. I'm high. I'm excited about our topic.
Yes. Oh, you ready? Okay.
I'm excited to be with my friend.
I know. Is your spider sense tingling? That's what that was.
I literally, when you were like getting close, and I was like, I had to check my messages, and I was like, I bet you Alexa's about to walk in the door. And here you come.
And here I come, yo.
How you doing?
I am feeling so good. This weather has been, oh my God, it was 70-something degrees today.
Okay,
boo.
I got on shorts.
You got on brunches. He got them legs out.
My yams is out.
They sure are. I ain't got that far yet. You know, I got my little sweatshirt on, but my Roger got his legs on. I ain't even mad at you, boo. It's really nice though.
How was your brunch?
It was nice. I did something in honor of you.
What did you do?
So I did. It was real. I did this before. I've done a fruit salad with raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, pineapple, banana, granola, and drizzle some honey on it. It is so good. It's so fulfilling, and I love it.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's great. I love it a lot. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, that's all that I had. I didn't have any carbs with it. I didn't want anything. It was maybe because the season is changing and things are warming up. I just felt I wanted something refreshing, and I didn't want a salad. So or a traditional salad. So I went fruit salad. It was great.
So my brunch, I know I said a while back I'm like trying to like reduce how much animal protein that I had.
Yes, you've been talking about that.
So I was only having like I've had mostly like mushroom or like vegan protein products and stuff that I've been eating. And I'll have like one piece of chicken a day as my one animal product. But today I had salmon. I had some, my husband made some salmon. I had some sauteed spinach and some vermicelli noodles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that
like gluten-free
feel?
vermicelli noodles.
Okay, come on, gluten-free. So how's that felt, right, to cut down the protein intake? That kind of protein intake. Have you felt a change? Have you felt a difference?
It does feel, I do feel like lighter. Like my blood pressure has definitely gone down.
Come on now. That's great for us.
My doctor said that I lost weight, although I can't see it.
You probably did. You just...
and you know, I think I'm feeling the effects. I think I did it mostly.
You can see it in the neck, girl. Yeah, you don't know a little bit. I can see it in the neck.
I did it less for the health benefits and more for like the environmental effect. Like if few of us eat meat, then it'll help.
So I can't have my double chicken sandwich?
You can have what you want. I'm doing what I'm
messing with you. I'm messing with you. You out here trying to save the earth, and I'm out here being a glutton.
No, you're not. On a scale of 1 to 10, how high are you?
Oh, baby, I'm at a nice 7.5.
Ooh, that is nice.
It is nice. For this conversation today, it's a sweet spot.
I needed this high for this conversation.
Okay, what? Where are you at?
I'm at 8.
Oh, I know. You good. See, now, when you started at 8, it's about to go up from here.
8, and I need to be because, girl, tell them what we're talking about today.
Child brunches, what we are talking about today. So, okay, let me hit you with the pitch, right? So Roger and I love a good pop culture documentary moment, okay? We love the behind-the-scenes moments, the fiery hot mic pieces, the never-before-seen clips. Docs that show you all the work and effort that it takes to pull off whatever incredible story they're trying to tell. They leave us inspired for greatness. We love a good tell-all moment. We love a good cringy moment. Even when moments can get hot mess, dark, and straight up. And I love the I can't believe this happened moments. Roger and I love a good documentary. Now, in the world of documentaries, you can come across a special documentary. One that tries to be equal parts honest, equal parts acknowledging, and equal parts void of any accountability. The perfect blend of calm chaos, complicitness, and what the fuck. Which leaves Roger and us feeling very different about whatever the story they were trying to share. Which brings me to the America's Next Top Model documentary. Yes, y'all. We are going to have a conversation about Miss Banks and crew and all things American Next Top Model. So this episode is entitled, We Were All Rooting for You.
So, and you know where that line came from.
Y'all know where you know where that line came from, which I know we're going to get into.
We're definitely going to get into that. All right. So I think it's time for us to pull back the curtain.
Come on.
Okay. So I think we're going to do a lot of background stuff for the documentary because we're going to discuss the documentary. I watched a lot of different interviews. I watched a lot of different stuff to like fill in the gaps because honey, I had questions.
Well, I mean, because in some of those on the quote unquote press tour that the people were doing for this doc, I went back and watched those interviews. I look at them previously to watching the doc. Right. And then afterwards, I'm like, wait a minute.
And then people were spilling so much more information after the documentary came out.
That's a tea.
When they started coming out with the documentary, they started telling all of the things. But I just want to go into this, like, everyone trying to, like, there's a lot of the criticism around, like, but Tyra did so much for models and the modeling industry and blah, blah, blah,
I'm
blah,
going to hold my mule.
And I was like, okay. All right, so there are people that felt that the documentary was unfair to Tyra and that it was unbalanced and they didn't talk to a lot of the models that were successful, like Eva Marseille and
we also know that there was
Winnie
commentary
Harlow.
That was on the other side.
Right. And I get that. And I understand what they're saying. At the same time, we already know those people.
Right.
I want to talk to the people that don't have a platform and are voiceless.
And to the point that you just made, I feel like the reaction has been more divisive than I think it's been in any other documentary we've covered. I'm not saying that there hasn't been differing opinions, like when we did the Diddy one, right? That seemed to be like majority of the people were in one kind of frame of thought. And then some other people were over here. I feel like this one hits really across the board. And everybody's loud, rightfully so. But but I feel like there's some people on different sides of this.
Yeah, I feel like there's
lots of people on different sides.
I'll get into how I feel about that. But what I want to do is play a quick game. I want to play a quick game called Top Model Winner or James Beard Foundation Employee. So I'm going to say a name, and you're going to tell me whether you think that person is a top model winner or a James Beard Foundation employee.
Okay, top model winner, Beard employee.
Okay, ready? Drew Padmore.
Drew Padmore. Beard employee.
Correct.
Okay. I did watch me a little top model. We'll get to that too.
Okay, here we go. Naima Mora.
Ooh, top model winner?
That is correct.
Ooh, Naima sounds familiar.
Okay. Niall DeMarco.
Beard employee?
Top model.
Oh, okay.
Tamar Sampson.
No, this is Tamar Sampson. Now, I didn't watch all of the cycles, but Beard.
Very good. Jocelyn Gonzalez.
Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. No. Top model winner?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, I missed one.
Jordan Miller.
Yeah. Top model winner?
Correct.
Ooh. I should play the lottery today, y'all.
Yeah, you're doing very good.
I am really guessing.
Laura James.
I'm going to go Beard employee.
Top model winner.
Damn. I missed two top model winners.
Let's see. Lisa D'Amato. D'Amato. Beard employee. Top model winner.
Damn.
Janelle Benjamin.
I feel like I don't want to switch, but I'm like, you said Janelle?
Janelle Benjamin.
That sounds a little familiar. Top model winner?
James Beard employee.
Damn! I'm thrown off at the end.
So, I mean, here's my point. Is that you basically guessed through all those names.
Right.
Nobody's name you were like, I know that's a top model
That's
winner.
true.
Because we don't know who none of these people are. If they're top models,
that's a good game.
How come we don't know anyone outside of Eva, Adrienne Curry, who was the first winner, Eva Pickford, now as Eva Marseille, from Cycle 3. Naima, you guessed right away, but she was a winner from season 4.
Yep.
Cycle 4, I'm sorry. Nicole Linkletter, Danielle Evans, we saw in the documentary. Yep. But there's just so many women, like, I didn't know who these people were. And if they're supposed to be top models, you know, I can name a bunch of people from American Idol.
You're right.
Winner or no winner. I can name more than a handful.
That's true. Even if they only had like a one hit single, we still know of them, even if their career wasn't as long. There were some products that came after their time on American Idol. You are absolutely right about that. That's fucked up.
So I want you to pay attention that they're like famous models. We know the names of famous models. No, let's not pretend like we don't know the names of famous models. Everybody knows Gisele Bündchen. Everybody knows Naomi Campbell.
Iman, they talk about her a lot.
Like, listen, Tyra. We know
Janice Dickinson. That's probably the only time you're gonna say I'd say that half his name. I can't stand her.
She's been through a lot. I mean, she is on my list of unscathed people because I was like, girl, where were you at this documentary?
You know why she wasn't on there, but we're going to end
at the same time, I was like, if you don't know, Janice Dickinson is the first Bill Cosby accuser. She was the first person to come out and accuse Bill Cosby. She's the first person on the docket of, and
if you're not familiar with the show, but we reference American Idol, think Simon Cowell.
Oh, yeah. She was the Simon Cowell of the show.
Just worse. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, it's just that's the only word. Yeah. She was horrible.
Let's get into it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
All right. So the show opens. They open up it's 3 episodes, 3 1 hour document, 3 1 hours. Listen, this is not spoiler free.
Oh, yeah. So listen, click off of this episode.
Press pause.
And go watch these episodes.
Go watch it yourself and
then come on.
And then you can come back because
baby, we gonna
talk about it
all of this shit.
Okay. Now we're back.
I
hope you saw it. Let's hope you watch all of it.
You're here for it.
I know you feeling like I'm feeling right now because what is going on?
Okay, can I just, as this opens up, when I tell you my whole wig, I just have to put that out there real quick. My whole wig is blown back.
Yeah, because they are starting out with like Tyra yelling at Tiffany Richardson.
The most infamous scene.
We were all rooting for you.
I never yelled at a model, a girl like I've yelled at you.
And it shows how different content creators reenacted it. And it was like recreated a bunch of times. It was on Family Guy.
It was everywhere.
The latest iteration of Project Runway, the most recent season, Law Roach was a recurring guest. And Tyra happened to be a guest judge on the time. And Law was saying something to a black woman that was a contestant. And Tyra was sitting over there. And he was like getting into like talking about her, and she said something. He was like, be quiet. Stop.
He started yelling at Tyra.
He was like, I have never yelled at. He starts yelling at the contestant. I have never yelled at a girl like this before in my life.
Was he serious?
And no, he was completely recreating the moment in front of Tyra, and Tyra did not look happy. The contestant laughed. Everybody laughed. Everybody was so funny.
Okay, so the unique part about this documentary versus the ones we watched before is that the heifer was in it.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that she came in from Jump, they sat her down immediately. I was blown away.
They immediately go into
and she wasn't happy about that scene because they played that scene, and she sat, and you see her face, and she is like cooking already. She is not okay.
And like she came, I watched this with with our friend Sylvester, and Sylvester was like, "Why is she dressed like Carmen Sandiego?"
In case she need to jump on a plane
and
real quick.
I said, "Ma'am, she is delivering a message with this trench coat." She said, "I will leave.
Right?
I am
at
here,
any time,
but I will leave at any time." So, she comes in. They play the voiceover of Eva Marseille in an interview talking about like how Tyra set out to like change the fashion industry and like talking about all the intention of the show, like pretty much praising Tyra and Top Model. And so that is the voiceover that's happening over all this scene. So everybody stopped saying that Eva wasn't in it because her voice was in it.
Her voice was in it. And I particularly like this package because I think in the beginning, like I didn't know the journey that it took to get there. And I thought that was really to be respected, because I want to make sure that I'm balanced when we talk about this. I thought that was to be respected. That was commendable, to get all those doors to all those top TV companies to just shut the door in your face. To shut no, and then at your last ditch.
Yeah, they talk about like why they got Tyra sits down. She says, "I've never said anything until now." And Tyra talks about how she sets the tone around how the show became popular in 2020 during the pandemic because a bunch of people were pandemic binging the show. And then these younger viewers that are now younger and they're more aware of like abuse and understanding of the things that we should not be watching, that should not be on television. And for them to now be in a generation where you can't verbally abuse someone on television, they're like, why are they fat shaming these girls? Why? They were like, they're verbally abusing these women. Like, young people had questions.
So Tyra saying that, I'm going to say this real quick, is a masterclass, because I know we're going to come back to this. And I know by the time we get to episode 3.
Because she says it right away. She talks about it,
She is a master of manipulation, because that right there. So she says that at the top of this documentary, we were, Top Model was all these things. But in 2020, another generation picked it up.
And they were looking at it through that lens. Well, girl, that's the right lens, honey.
But the T is, and we're going to talk about this all the way through, we also were looking at this.
Absolutely. And that was my other thing, was that
shit.
She kept passing it off as the time period, and that it was wrong in the time period. Like, people were saying something about the time period. The difference between then and now is that we didn't have social media where people had their own platforms that they could have public discourse about this.
We're
nationally.
talking 2002.
This is 2002. Like, there was AOL chat rooms.
Right.
There was Black Planet, Mi Gente.
Like,
MySpace.
That was it. And like, you really had to look at one person's page at a time.
Right.
You didn't get like thousands and thousands of people, or like you could see 50 comments in a minute. You couldn't see anything like that.
There was no public discourse
platform.
But
I want all the younger generations to know that we, as we were growing up with this show, we saw a lot wrong.
Absolutely. We saw things wrong. Like, there was a bunch of things. So let's get into it. So they.
Oh my God.
Tyra talks about her intention for the show. Now, it's very important that we read this intention. She says that she said her intention was for the show to show what it took to become a model, and to show that beautiful is not just one thing.
Yes. Oh my God, didn't she go into that? Not one skin color, not one body type, not one shape.
She said that's what was the goal.
She sure did.
She said that was the goal.
She sure did.
Okay, all right. So my question is, we'll get back to that. Then you have enter Ken Mok. Ken Mok talks about how Ken Mok is the executive producer and co-creator. Well, he's executive producer. He's not creator of Top Model. He was the producer throughout the time period. I think Ken Mok is the only one that stayed on throughout all 24 cycles.
Yes.
He's the only one that's been on all 24 cycles.
Yep.
And so they have him there the whole time. And Tyra. Tyra is technically there the whole time too. But he talks about how meeting Tyra, he first underestimated her. Like, he was like, oh, I think this is going to be a beauty piece, blah, blah, blah. And then Tyra talks about this idea that she pitched, that she wanted to take American Idol and Real World, which at the time were the biggest reality shows of the time.
Yeah, they were ginormous.
She wanted to marry the Real World and American Idol centered around models.
Yes.
And I was like, and he was like, I'm in. This sounds like I'm in. Because even being in that time period, or even now, to say that at that point in time is a brilliant idea.
Yep.
It is a great idea.
And from there, right, they come up with this brilliant idea, and then I think she does something really bold. When they're casting he knew that they needed hit judges like they had or not provocative judges, but you needed judges that could really work the camera and make good TV like American Idol did. And Tyra didn't want to go for the stereotypical clean-cut white man. She hired two gay BIPOC men.
Yeah, the first people she goes to is Miss J. Alexander is the first person she goes to. She adds Miss J first. Miss J first is known as like the queen of the runway. Yep. Miss J
legs
is
for
tall,
days,
gorgeous, queer
6'5", dark skin,
and
bitch, I'm black. She's great.
Pretty much the bedrock of the show.
Literally had all the one-liners, total charisma, could give you a full monologue without just making faces. He had it all.
It was and Miss J definitely was kind of the personality of the show.
Yes.
I mean, let's not be twisted. Like, Miss J was verbally abusive to these women as well.
I'm not even gonna hold you.
James,
all of them ain't shit.
All of them said some terrible
all
things.
of them ain't shit. I'm not even gonna hold you.
All of them said terrible things to these models.
I just wanted to acknowledge the groundbreaking, ceiling breaking.
Oh, absolutely.
You got this black woman who's doing this and Kim Mock, Asian producer. Like, this is a whole BIPOC movement around reality TV.
Yeah.
Right?
And queer movement, because we
and
hadn't
queer.
seen...
Thank you very much.
Because first cycle was... we have these two queer men that are front and center in like the early 2000s. This is a big deal. We're not seeing this on television
anywhere.
And then one of the first in the first cycle, you see a black queer woman, a black lesbian, is one of the contestants,
and you actually see that relationship.
Yes.
Right. You see her girlfriend comes on. Shout out to Ebony. Her girlfriend comes on. There's some moments there, and like all of it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And we know what's.
Yeah.
Can we? Okay.
And so, what do you want to say?
Because I don't know. Because what was fucked up about that?
They outed her.
They outed her
without her permission. They did not pull her aside and ask her ahead of time.
I shouldn't say they. Tyra did that shit.
Well, yes, Tyra did that.
And I'm like, and that's the first time.
Outed her. Yeah, Tyra outed her on national television without thinking about how unsafe it may or may not be for this woman.
For this black woman. Like, off the rip. Whatever, like, was it Danny that said it? Somewhere that... I'm sure Tyra created this with the best of intentions.
Oh, yeah.
But it somewhere got lost.
That shit got lost.
She said that shit got lost.
Yes.
And it got lost.
Right.
Cycle one. That's crazy.
There's a thing that's confusing me. So they talk about how they wanted to have a diverse cast, but the network at the time, they talk about how they got the idea. They went to a bunch of networks. Network after network closed their door. They finally went to the very last door was UPN. And Dawn Ofstra was the executive at UPN that signed them, and on and running. But the network did not feel that they wanted to, because Tyra said she wanted to put people of color in it, but she wanted to put first a bunch of white people what they understood, what beauty was, because she wanted to meet people where they were. and she wanted them to see what they thought was beauty and then someone different. And so she casted Ebony, who was a black woman from New York.
Dark skin, Harlem girl.
Can I just say, all the black women that showed up for this documentary came
Stunning.
on looking gorgeous.
Fucking stunning.
Listening.
Oh.
All of them.
Oh.
All of those women.
I was like, wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, like it was literally all the black girls.
All the black women showed up
and without even trying. They looked so good.
They did not even look like they had just been glammed up before. Tyra did.
That's true.
Tyra looked like she had a team right before.
She needed a little bit more.
The rest of them just sat down, gorge.
Yeah,
I said, y'all look amazing. But anyway, yeah, Ebony, they bring them on, and then they say that they casted a Latino woman to be in the cast, and the network said no to this Latino woman, and so they ended up replacing this woman with Giselle, who is also a Latina.
I'm like,
I don't what did the other one look like?
Like her complexion
was she darker?
Was she darker? And they can't have all these dark girls on here?
Did they replace?
That's what it was giving.
Because I was like, is that what it was? They just completely got rid of the darker, so they brought in. Because I was like, Jocelyn is Panamanian. She's a Latino woman.
So I'm like, what are we talking about?
Why did we get rid of her?
But we knew that the point was
not
that
Jocelyn, Giselle.
The executives didn't want all of this
There
color.
was a lot of putting stuff on the executives, honey.
That white man who controlled it, this, that, and the other. And she fought, but and then I want to make sure we give credit. She fought with the powerhouse guy, I forgot his name, over at Viacom.
Les Nunez.
There you go.
Who ended up becoming the executive of CBS. And I want to be very clear, we're going to get back to Les in a minute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But here she is, this black woman, like, no. I'm pushing. So in the beginning of this documentary, in the first half of that episode, okay, I'm seeing what Tyra has done. I'm seeing the doors that she's kicked down. I'm seeing the barriers that it was even unheard of for this black woman with her first television show to be going at the president of Viacom, like, who has the whole keys to the purse. Like, if he don't turn the lock, that money ain't coming out of there. And she fighting with him. I want this Latino girl on here. I want this black girl on here. And I'm like, okay, Tyra, okay.
I'm not going to hold you.
Oh, God.
But I want you to remember that the story of what Tyra did came from Ken Mock.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So I'm not sure
if she did that.
If I believe Ken. Because watching this, I really believe, and hearing other interviews from Jay Manuel, that Ken Mock and Tyra have been like lockstep throughout the entire process of America's Next Top Model, and that they probably still at this point are. So I really do feel like their stories were coordinated and rehearsed.
Let's stop playing these games. They absolutely were.
So I think Ken Mock might be stretching the truth.
But let's say he did that, though. Let's say that happened.
Let's say it happened.
Let's say it happened. The shit she did after all of this goodness.
After she did to them girls?
No, it's still shit. So I want to give her that. That's your one flower. Because you don't get no flowers, you get one flower.
It just hits the rails because Ebony Haith, gorgeous. She's gorgeous now, but they show what she looked like in the clips of what she looks like during the documentary, and like she was just strikingly beautiful.
Period.
Like her skin tone, her eyes, like her look that they ruined because they did the whole hair makeover thing.
And can we talk about
away.
that shit?
And I was like, Tyra, how do you do a makeover for a group of models and you've cast a black woman and you got no black stylist to help the black
in the entire hell?
Why is that not? Why would you not have that
in
consideration?
How could you not? How could you, Tyra Banks, who literally in the earlier part of the package was what she had to survive and what she had to go through as a black girl, but then now you are the black woman in charge and you ain't got, and mind you, y'all, Ebony didn't have hair down to her ass. She had a very short, tight, it was like fade all the way around. She was
could have
practically
just
bald.
done nothing.
They could have gave her a Caesar and kept it nice and fresh.
Or they could have just left her hair alone.
And what hurt my heart is when that white lady put them clippers in her head and said, "Ooh, this is rough."
Oh, maybe we should put her initials in it. They were like laughing and joking.
They were, and she's sitting in this chair. She's like 18, 19, and they're calling her hair as they're trying to cut it off with a fucking shaver rough.
And left her with 3 bald spots.
Like, she already was short-haired like a Caesar, y'all, and she's bald.
They didn't have the proper clippers, nor anyone that had the proper skills to do it.
And it wasn't one person. There was multiple people in
3
this
women,
woman's
and
hair.
they made a mockery of her hair. And then, Ebony talks about how she thought that Tyra was going to like come to her and protect her and apologize to her.
What did she do?
She comes back and
say?
says to Ebony that the judges are telling her that her skin was ashy.
Ashy.
Girl, why would you use that word? Why would you allow anyone to use that word for a black woman?
And you kept that. And mind you, all of this shit is being edited, and you keep that shit in here. You keep it purposefully in the episode, and you say this. The first cycle, the first black girl to be on this major platform, you talk about her ashy skin. And then when she started to lotion herself, right? You remember who was it?
Yeah, it was Giselle. It was all
Giselle.
of them. But
who spoke the most? To me, it was Giselle, right?
Yeah.
Another girl of color telling the black girl.
And I felt like
you leaving your lotion on,
and it was like a whole
furniture.
Couch discussion, which felt very producer motivated, because who sits down and talks about lotion on the doorknobs? But it definitely feels like a producer promoted situation, which Ebony felt like she was treated differently and she felt targeted.
She absolutely was.
And which is so unfortunate when the show is created by a black woman. You expect to not come in and not be, which says a lot to me about how Tyra went into this. Like, Tyra didn't, there's a difference between mentoring and developing and hazing. And I felt like she went into this wanting to haze a bunch of women into the modeling industry and not.
The only thing I disagree with is that I felt like she earnestly tried. Like, when you see her in the earlier cycles, walking with them in like the lobby of the houses, right? They go into the hallway, they're trying to work on stuff. She's sitting down with them on couches. There's all these kind of tender moments. I felt like she was trying in her earnestness, this is what I want to do. But that model shit, that other side of it, the hazing part of it, because what I got was, I went through all of this.
Yeah.
This is what I went through, and I'm going to put you through it too. So I feel like in the beginning, it was 2 things can exist at the same time.
That's true.
I can love you, I can mentor, but I'm going to haze the fuck out of you. I think as the show went on, it was just haze.
Yeah.
It's just straight up hazing.
I feel like hurt people hurt people.
Oh, God.
And
yes,
so,
correct.
As a member of a Greek letter organization, I know that there are plenty of people that believe that passing down a tradition of abuse is a form of love.
Yep. Didn't she say that? When my mother yelled at me, it's because she loved me.
Yeah. And I was like, so I can see how people can believe that this treatment was a way of, helping them.
But she wasn't even being honest about that.
I don't think she was being honest about that.
Because every time I think the producers or somebody said something about it, I kept hearing her say, what I experienced, what I went through. Anyway, so that's Ebony's story was heartbreaking.
That was heartbreaking. They talk about Janice Dickinson. Now, Janice Dickinson, they showed clips of her. And Janice Dickinson is described as extremely provocative. She's described as a diva, a legitimate bona fide supermodel, outrageous, someone with no filter. But no one in this documentary described her as verbally abusive, because that's exactly what she was.
A bona fide she-demon cunt. I'm not even going to hold you.
She's
telling girls who are size 0 and size 2 that they're fat.
She's calling them fat. She's telling them that they're ugly.
They're boring. Your face is boring. Throw them away.
Like, you look like...
and that is one reason, maybe reason number 695, why I say ain't none of that cash shit.
Yeah.
Ain't none of y'all shit.
Yeah. So after cycle 1, the show becomes an instant hit. It was in a fledgling...
It was so good.
Yeah, it was on UPN. UPN was not a big network. They were last in the ratings.
Now it is.
They were last in the ratings, but they shoot to number 1 in the ratings.
Yep.
UPN did a lot of that using black content to get them to the top.
No comment.
But they go to cycle 2, their budget increases dramatically. Over like
build a sound stage.
They get a sound stage. The girls that got their own rooms, they all got to share a hotel room.
Fabulous.
Okay, so they talk about Shandy Sullivan. We meet Shandy from cycle 2. I remember Shandy so much. I watched her season.
Don't we all?
She's a young girl. She worked at Walmart. She said she didn't think she was that beautiful. She said her boyfriend Eric encouraged her to come onto the show and be a contestant. Listen,
yo.
They go on to talk about a bunch of other different things and how the budget gets really big, and they decide that in the finale of the show, in deciding who the winner is going to be, the top 4 took a trip to Milan, and it's the first time top model travels abroad, and it becomes a trademark of the show. Right. The final part of the finale, always the final 4 girls go to someplace. They go abroad. So they go to Milan. They're like, yes, they're going to Milan. They get on a plane. Their challenge is that they have to go to a bunch of go-sees, and they are escorted by a bunch of Italian men on mopeds. So they go on this trip. They spend all day. They're done with their challenge. They get home. Shandy says, I don't remember who said it, but someone said, how would you feel about the guys who were on the mopeds come by and have dinner with you guys and with some wine and stuff? And I was like, cool, that sounds like it's fun. I'm going to pause right here. Who said it? We still don't know whose idea it was for them men to go over to them women's house.
And hang out.
And go hang out.
Pizza and wine.
And feed them food.
We don't.
Give them wine.
But
whose idea?
I don't know.
I've seen a later interview. Jay Emanuel says, listen, I know exactly who did it. I'm not going to say who it was, but it is those women could not schedule their next 5 minutes or 5 seconds. There's no way it was their idea to invite the boys over. He said that came from Story. That was a production decision.
I believe it.
And I was like, so if it's a production decision, someone from production said, let's send these boys over there and let's ply them with some alcohol and see what happens.
Yep. Keep going. So
they do this. They drink a bunch of wine. The guys come over. Shandy talks about she was exhausted. She had been, they had spent a full day of like going around and go-sees. They have a bottle of wine. Shandy talks about how she was very drunk and she was tired. She was lightweight. She probably hadn't eaten all day and had 2 bottles of wine by herself. This woman was very drunk. They're in the hot tub. Her and her moped driver are looking at each other. She said she looked at him. She looked at me. I looked at him. He looked at me. And then suddenly I realized I was in the shower. And then I realized we were in the shower together. And this breaks my heart. She says the words, I knew I didn't feel sex happening, but I knew sex was happening. And then I blacked out and they filmed all of it. All of it. And I literally gasped. This happened in episode 2, but episode 1, Shandy talks about she was considered a front runner. They thought Shandy was going to win. And so she wakes up, realizes this thing has happened. And in the storyline that they feed us is that she cheated on her boyfriend.
They feed us and they feed her.
And they feed her.
Like her.
Her. And that she's now has this narrative that she cheated on her boyfriend. Not that she was just sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
That no one... And Ken Mock's response to that...
Oh, my God.
Was disgusting.
Like it was fucking filthy. And this
both of their responses are horrible.
The fact that she acted like she knew, and I'm not saying she don't know all her girls, but when we get to Danny, you knew Danny immediately. And I'm not saying like that wasn't there.
She said,
you knew Ebony.
They asked her, she said, do you remember Shandy? She said, And
to me, that was bad acting. She knew exactly who the fuck Shandy was.
She said, I remember Shandy's story,
no.
But it's hard for me to talk about production because that really isn't my I'm really not in charge of story and production.
God, and I
said, Tyra, you just got finished talking. And she said, but I did become a master editor. I said, Tyra, you did just...
Where they do the editing?
You just told us...
Production.
That you were highly involved in the production and the creation of the show.
But I'm not involved in production.
And then all of a sudden, from cycle 1 to cycle 2, you're not in charge.
After the show blows up? After the show really blows up, you're not in charge of
You're
production?
not in charge. You could have said, no, we can't do this.
Girl, who you talk... My thing is, even if she wasn't in charge of production, this bitch, and I'm going to leave her right there, saw all these episodes. You ain't going to tell me, at least in the second cycle of the show, even whatever was cropped or was edited did not come across Tyra's plate first before it went to the networks to be put out there. And so you would have saw this.
And then we hear from Jay Emanuel that I was in the production office with Tyra. We were both off when we both get the call that Shandy is in the shower having sex with a guy.
And you let it, and y'all kept rocking. And nobody go to the house? And nobody show up?
And I was like,
when she did go to the house, what did she do?
So, first of all, she gets up there and like pretends like she doesn't know what happened and like has this little fireside chat with the girls and brings up how when she used to try, how her boyfriend cheated on her
so
one time.
So she's gaslighting, yeah.
And then like, it's like, Shandy, did you cheat on your boyfriend? And like,
it's okay. I'm not going to judge you.
I'm not trying to judge you. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Tyra, you sat there and gaslit that girl that was just sexually assaulted that you all watched happen and no one stopped it and you filmed it. And your response was, I didn't know what was going on. And Ken Mock's response is, well, we treated it like a documentary. We told the girls and they knew that whatever, if a train wreck happens, we film the train wreck. It just happens. Blah,
We're
blah,
not
blah,
filming
blah.
sexual assault.
And I was like, first of all, sir, if someone had come in one of those doors and beat the fuck out of those women.
You tell me you're going to put that on air?
You wasn't going to stop it?
You're going to put that on air?
You was going to put it on the air?
Because it's a documentary.
It's a documentary, right? So
Somebody gets their throat slashed?
You're not going to stop it, but you're going to watch a girl get sexually assaulted? Get the fuck out my face.
And then here's where I know everybody on that show ain't shit. Because when they filmed Shandy trying to, one, process the assault that happened to her.
Right.
And she couldn't even say the words. So, because the boyfriend on the other end ends up saying you had sex with him, you did all these things with him.
Oh, first they didn't want to let her call her boyfriend.
Yes, they did not want to do that. And then after the moment where, she's on the floor of this, whatever room she's in, sobbing, just uncontrollably sobbing, this is happening, they're filming all this, the audio guy... And the two men in there, because it's just two of them, they say, we are so sorry.
Yeah, the cameraman and the audio man.
Had to film this. And so then, at that point in that year, you have people on set who know this is wrong, who know that this isn't right. And so Ken's and Tyra's response in 2026, their response is, that was production or we didn't know. We're past that, bitch. You know.
And their other response was, well, I mean, to be clear,
nope.
We didn't show all of it.
You did us a favor.
We edited it down heavily. And then to come and find out it was edited down heavily because Janet Jackson and Super Bowl had just happened right before the show. And if you don't know about Nipplegate, Janet Jackson, during her famously Super Bowl performance, her breast was exposed accidentally, and she got banned from the Super Bowl by Les Nunez, who also tried to destroy her career.
Yes, he did.
And kept her off of every Viacom
promoted
show,
event,
any Viacom networker station,
award shows, TV appearances.
The whole Viacom parent, she could not be on. None of her videos were aired.
Nope,
none of it. Like all of her stuff was banned. He tried to ruin her career. So I'm gonna get back to Les Nunez, but that's why they ended up having to cut it down, because restrictions had clamped down on how much you could show on television.
So basically, you're telling on yourself and saying you have all this crazy ass footage of stuff that we would find probably abhorrent, and then you ain't showing it because of something that happened at Super Bowl. Like, y'all are trifling.
And try to blame it on, like, oh, we were trying to protect Shandy. You weren't trying to protect Shandy.
No.
You
and
never
she even
did
said that. She was like, no.
And then Tyra brought her on her show, and then brought her to the reunion show.
Oh, the reunion show on her show?
And she asked her about showing the video or the clip of her talking to her boyfriend again, and she was like, I've not watched it again. I don't want to watch it.
And she told her before they got on fucking stage, don't do that.
And she said, please don't show it. I don't want to see it. And then she showed it anyway.
And then the whole, like, she's like touching her arm as she's like trying to, look, you can't watch it. You can't watch it because it's still too soon.
She's like, I noticed you weren't She was like, I noticed you weren't watching, Shandy. Not just noticed, but you knew she wasn't going to watch it because she asked you not to show it.
And I don't know if you notice the body language of all the other girls around Shandy and Tyra on the show as she's doing this. You could see it. They all are pulling into themselves.
Everyone is repulsed.
They're repulsed. Like even the other, you could tell like they just all fell silent.
She had to tell her boyfriend. We heard a horrible, horrible, heartbreaking conversation of Shandy telling her boyfriend that she had cheated on him, and him like a broken-hearted response. Like he immediately is in tears and broken and is angry and calls her a stupid bitch on national television.
Which is something that we really haven't heard. And why I'm so angry about this story is because we had no idea during the time. The way they played this, right, was that, and remember, you said it best. You said there's no Instagram, there's no millions and millions of followers. We had Black Planet, and like you had to, like the internet was still very young in terms of its influencers and followers and all that stuff. So we didn't know that Shandy was sexually assaulted. We thought, just like we thought with Ebony, she wasn't taking care of her skin. We thought with Shandy, we thought that she just got freaky. She was in the moment. Here she is in Milan, and she fell for this man, and she cheated on her boyfriend, and she didn't know how to deal with it. We knew that. It was only until, at least for me, until I saw Shandy, in her own words, describe her sexual assault. And so I knew from jump. Now this is Psycho 2, because I know we need to like move faster. So like, but from jump, it went from, to me, hazing to ultimate manipulation, story manipulation. So now I started to think, like, who are y'all picking and choosing which stories work along the way? So now that I knew that they were manipulating stories, even so much as to cover up sexual assault in the second cycle of this juggernaut of a show, I was like, these people ain't shit. Ain't none of them. And all of y'all knew that.
It is crazy. So Dawn Ostra leaves UPN as executive of UPN because, and then she's replaced by some dude. They start moving into a different direction. Like they now have to really compete. They're super, super big.
Yep.
Super big. And the Jays are getting more recognized than Tyra, which isn't going well with Tyra. And that
but it was though, because she was there, but they had these sparkling personalities. The Jays fed off each other quite well. They were even when they had the spinoffs and the inspired shows around the, like, you know, Next Top Model Africa, Africa's Next Top Model, Mexico's Next Top Model, Spain's Next Top Model, even down to the judges. They were trying to find people that fit the personality of Tyra, which you could see it was like you had a really nice host, but you needed to have her wing people be really great personalities. So yeah, they were also trying to replicate the energy that Miss J and Jay Alexander was giving.
Yeah, so they got Jay and Jay Alexander. They're getting recognized everywhere. They're super, super big. And the franchise is getting international now. Now, like season 2, right after that big thing with Shandy, she quits, drops out of the series. She was a series favorite. Then have the big drama and someone else wins. It is major TV. It's super popular. They get franchises all over the country. They're blowing up. They keep adding on more and more like stunts because now Fear Factor is a big thing on television.
Fear Factor, Survivor was
big.
And
so now they're doing all of these like dangerous stunts. And they're like, Tyra comes in and she does the stunt where she faints in front of the girls and pretends like she's about to pass out and scares all them girls. And it's like, acting.
And they were all like, what the fuck just happened?
I was like, that's fucked up. They dressed up the women in meat, and then they make the girls do like,
oh, you about to get to it,
the violent death episode.
That was horrible.
They re-encountered they had them dress up victims of a violent crime.
Yep. Head bashed in, neck broken, strangled, like gunshot. They do that. And it's interesting how along the way, many of the girls were saying, like, when I would share certain vulnerable parts of my story, somehow they would just end up in these challenges.
Right. And so...
which would reignite trauma from anyone who were trying to deal with it. So, in particular, the one young lady who was like, I think she said
Dionne Walters.
Thank you, Dionne
from
Walters.
Cycle 8. Dionne Walters from Cycle 8 was posed as a gunshot victim, and they knew that her mother was a victim of gun violence. Her mother was paralyzed from gun violence. And it was a part of her storyline. And then she says that at the time she thought it was coincidental, but she knows for a fact that it wasn't.
It wasn't. And then when you play back, and we were just talking about that, right? Some of the comments that the judges were making. Oh, your body is giving... Dionne, your body is great, but your face looks lifeless. Your face looks like you're not into it. And I'm like, I think that was one of the ones where Nigel had said something, and then they went back to him, and it was like, and I think he did admit, like, yeah, I shouldn't have said the things that I said because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Oh, and we get that, and then season 2 is the entrance of Nigel. Cycle 3 is the entrance of Nigel Barker.
I thought he was in instance 2, but
he might have been 2.
Actually, no. It was 3 because I think the show had blown up and they were like, we need a straight white man.
And so in Cycle 3, they bring on Nigel Barker, and they specifically tell Tyra, the network says, we need a straight white male. As if the J's were not enough, but a straight white male is what they wanted to add. And so they get Nigel Barker, who is not white.
Right. Like, anyway,
who's not white? But
I'm waiting for you to say, because I've been waiting this whole conversation, because I don't want to go to, I mean, we could be here all night. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I want you to, there was one particular challenge I'm waiting for you to bring up.
So they also decide that they want to swap races.
My Lord in heaven.
Tyra. Like, literally, I wasn't watching Top Model at this time, but everyone was talking about...
Everyone was like... We was mad then.
And we were mad then. Everyone was like, Tyra, why are you putting these girls in blackface?
Why are you having these white women be an African woman, be a Indonesian woman? I was like, what are you doing?
And like, this isn't okay.
And having a black girl be a white girl.
And her response, I was feeling it. I was really into it. I was like, I bet you were.
Y'all
always want our skin, but don't want our struggle.
Right? Want our beauty, but don't want the pain. I can't with the shit. Like, I promise you, even then, we were like, what are we watching?
I was so confused.
We were so,
like,
this is not,
I felt like I was being punked.
We all were.
I was like, y'all not playing. I was like, this is a mockumentary.
And I ain't gonna lie.
They're gonna tell me
I think I might have made one more cycle, and then I was done with it, because I was like, I can see. And what fucked me up is what I didn't know is that they did this shit twice.
Yeah, I did know they did it twice.
I didn't know they did this shit twice.
They did it twice because Tyra,
this bitch went back.
Because Tyra has an ego issue, and that like this, she
and
knew
y'all,
it
we
was
ain't talking about season consecutively. They did this shit years later.
This is we're in cycle 8 when they like swap. They swap races. So it really eats at Jay Manuel, who is a biracial person from South Africa.
Come on.
And was like, I was ready to leave the show. Like, it really ate at me. He said, I saw that I no longer was having creative control over the shoots anymore. And when he went to Tyra and said, I don't feel comfortable doing this, I don't want to be the one to do this. He also didn't feel it was his place to say, I don't think we should do this. And I also can understand that. Like, you can't, this is why I don't expect, like, when people, I'll be like, there needs to be more Black people in boardrooms, but not just a Black person in boardrooms, but Black people.
I agree.
Because you don't want that, when you don't feel like you have the power to say a thing, is a thing.
Here, my only problem is with that. I have so much sympathy for that. I don't know if I would have made a different. Well, I know me. I would have made a different decision.
I would have got fired.
I'm like, no, I'm not doing this shit. Fuck y'all, right? Like, I know me. But again, in 2026, for Jay to be like, I couldn't at the time. Where are you at now? Because I still think he reads. Even to this day, you are scared of this woman. Like, period. Like, you are not saying the thing. You're saying everything around the thing. You were doing it then, and like you're doing it now. It's like if you really felt, because I'm like, if you felt uncomfortable, and maybe you came to that conclusion now in 2026. He still can articulate that. And I was so disappointed. I'm like, come on. But no, it's not about an NDA. You've already signed up here, right? She didn't even want to talk about you.
Listen,
shit?
When he was like, I wanted to quit the show, Tyra and I made this agreement. First of all, he and Tyra, close friends. Like, she stayed in his apartment. They watched the first episode at his house.
In his apartment,
Let's be
clear.
His apartment. His New York apartment. In the early 2000s.
Stop. Her mama was in his apartment.
Okay? That's how close they were. He said, Tyra and I made an agreement that if either one of us had an issue, we would come to each other first.
Point back period.
He was like, I couldn't get her on the phone. She was away on such a thing. It was not possible for me to get her on the phone. So I wrote her this very long email. It was very thoughtful. He thought it out. He gave his gratitude and said, I don't think I can go on to the show.
And what was her response?
First of all, it was silence for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Followed by
3-word email. I am disappointed. I said, that is the pettiest, most, like, I don't have friends that would do that to me. Like, how?
Not friends. Because we ain't calling them friends.
That's not your friend.
Are you kidding me?
No friend would ever, like, we have a friendship.
Yes.
And we have a professional friendship.
Yes.
Our friendship is a part of our profession.
Yes.
This is a part of a thing. There's no way you could have an issue with what's going on with our work and you couldn't come to me and it'd be a thing that bothered me and we couldn't have a conversation. I can't imagine turning around giving you like silence. There's
on an
nothing.
issue for like days and then be like, hey, I'm not cool with it. I'm disappointed.
Then he was forced to come. They said they screen tested people and they could not.
Because you can't.
They could not replace him
because he was such a staple in the show.
They asked him to come back. He said no. Legal got on the phone, was like, "Hey, we need you to come back for one more season,
and you might need to come back for one more season."
He felt like he was like, "I'll do this courtesy. I'll come back for this one season, but after the one season, I was done." Then he got on set, and then she wouldn't talk to him off camera.
So that was wild to me. So to see that all of that was just performative in front of the camera that whole season was insane.
Cycle 8 till this day, he has not spoken to Tyra.
That's buck Wild.
He has not had a personal off-camera conversation.
Ain't had a tea.
With
Ain't had
Tyra.
a brunch. A Zoom, bitch.
Since
Google Meet.
8.
He can't do no smoke signal.
That is crazy.
You know, I consider a postcard. You ain't got nothing.
She's never said peep to you.
She paid
and
you
then,
dust.
But the cameras come on. So Jay, what do you think? That is schizophrenic. That is.
When the producer asked her, so is now a good time for us to talk about Jay?
And she said, nah. And it, like
he's a special man.
I've saw Jay Jay Manuel in a separate interview, and he was like, I loved watching that moment because the only time you see Tyra break. Woo. It's the only time you can see she's clearly upset that they asked her that question. Because
and going back to your original point, if he had kept pressing, she had that good outfit on.
Okay,
she'd have just got up.
Yeah, right. But she was upset that question was asked, and so she said, nah, I don't think I'm going to get into that today. I owe him a call.
She said that shit and didn't even blink. Like she said the whole time standing at the producer. Her mouth was saying one thing, but them eyes, them smiles and eyes was saying, keep asking me, bitch.
But he's a really special man.
Woo!
He's special. And that grin.
What?
That Joker grin.
That's what I'm saying. Keep talking.
Like, girl.
It was literally giving, move on.
Girl.
It was literally giving, move on.
It was giving, move on. And we find out, like, it is well known that in interview industry, like talk shows, places that she has been, it is in her rider. You cannot ask Tyra about Jay Manuel. This doesn't go well. She does a bunch of stuff. I want to talk about an incident that happened that I saw that did not make the documentary, but the time that she does a tribute to Black Greek letter organizations and she has them people coming out stepping. Have you seen this clip?
No, girl. Real quick, what happened?
She has, I believe it was members of Phi Beta Sigma that were behind her, and they were.
Keep going. Yeah,
they come in, and she talks about how they're going to do a stepping challenge, I think, and brings them in, and she comes in and is like doing these weird, sexy movements and not actually doing the step routine in front of them. Like as a part of their routine, they're stepping, and she's imitating the things, and then doing other stuff. It's giving she messed up the choreography and decided to do her own thing.
Because she's Tyra Banks.
Rather than just get it right. And it looked disrespectful.
I mean, everything, the more this documentary went on, the more disrespectful I saw her.
Like the number of times they made comments on people's women's bodies, what they did to Kenya Hill. They talked about, they created a narrative to make her the fat girl. And she even wasn't even that fat. I mean, not trying to be funny,
she wasn't big. Relatively to what we understand fat to be, right? No shaming. She was like a size 6.
She wasn't even that. They started putting it in the storyline, editing the video of making it look like she ate like 3 different bagels,
and it was the same
she was
one.
on the same bagel. When they did challenges for the 7 Deadly Sins, they made her gluttony, and then when they did the animals, they made her the elephant. And I was like...
And the other one got to be like a graceful giraffe. The other one's a gazelle.
Right.
And the other one's an elephant.
And and she was like, is that by accident or are they doing this on purpose? And she was like, once she did the elephant challenge, she was like, oh, they're doing this on purpose. Now, Danny...
No, wait. Kenya was also the one who stopped production
because somebody was touching her.
Boning in her fucking ear. And my thing is... she's 19-year-old, right? If I'm 19 years old, I'm up here and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm not Tyra's whole thing. You need to check the boy who was gyrating on you and moaning in your ear. You, as the model, you need to check.
She gave her the responsibility.
But in business, if I'm an employee, I'm going to my director.
That's your responsibility.
And so that's why I'm looking at Jay Manuel. You ain't shit.
Jay Manuel
let her right at you and said,
it.
He's doing this.
He's doing this, and he was like, "Well, we have all these people here. Jay, you messed up too.
You messed up so bad.
Y'all did not protect that girl. And
and it could have took 5 seconds, brother. Let me talk to you for a second over here.
Right, and then even in the response, like it wasn't like." even with Nigel Barker was like, well, that's the model industry and that's what happens. And I was like, y'all were all responsible. You did not protect that girl.
Right.
And so they go to that. And then we go to Danny. Danny talks about how on her cycle, this was the cycle that they end up giving her and I believe, what was the other girl's name?
Shannon.
I think it is Shannon.
It's an S. I feel like I'm wrong.
I think it is Shannon. But they end up having to get dental surgery. They want a part of the it's the first time on Top Model where they're giving them dental medical surgery as a makeover.
I would be more specific. They gave the one girl, they gave her dental surgery.
And they helped her remove some teeth. She had crowded teeth trial, and she was excited about it. Now, Danny, they wanted her to close her gap that she did not want to close.
Because she even named it, it's part of my identity.
She's a part of my identity. I like my gap. I don't want to leave. And they were like, you can't be a model.
You can't be a top model. You can't be a supermodel
with that gap. As if Lauren Bacall never existed.
Come the fuck on. Thank you.
Lauren Bacall had a huge career decades before Top Model even happened.
But you're going to look around and tell her, if you don't get that closed, basically you off the show.
Like, I was like, this is absurd. And like they take her to the dentist's office. Danny says no, she doesn't want her gap done, and she doesn't take the surgery. They damage Shannon's teeth.
Yes.
They damaged her teeth. Like
permanently.
She has a bite issue that will never be corrected
permanently.
Now.
Her shit is fucked.
They fucked her stuff up. Then Danny comes out, she's like, I don't want to close my gap. And then she basically feels like Tyra pressures her, like, if you don't get the gap closed, we're going to take you off the show. She knows she's going to get cut. She implies that she was like, if I decide to keep you on, are you going to get that gap closed? And Dan immediately took that, and she was like, yes. And so she immediately took that as, if I don't get my gap closed, they're going to show me off the show. She calls her mom. Her mom tells her, we'll welcome you back, but if you don't get your gap closed, they're going to send you home. And so she goes and does it. Against
her own, you can see it in her face, against her own will. She doesn't want to. Against her own heart.
They pressure her to get oral surgery, to get medical surgery, change her body.
She does it. She goes on to win.
She wins. She plays the game, y'all. She wins.
She wins.
And then she wins Top Model. She goes into the model apartment. She's represented by the Ford agency. Ford agency modeling company call her in for her first meeting. She says it's cold. She says she gets no warmth. There didn't feel like anybody was helping her. She gets no call. She just sat in the model apartment for summers while girls were getting booked on jobs. They're getting into the model season. She's not getting called for anything. One of the other girls finally asked why Danny's not getting called for anything, and they said, we have to treat her differently because she's on Top Model.
No, because she's a top model girl.
She's a top model girl. And so,
as if that was to say, like, this type of model is stigmatized.
And I did my research. Several top models came out and said, Top Model was a scarlet letter in the model agency. They would not take you if you were a Top Model alumni.
Which is already painful in and of itself. After going through all of that, you win only to recognize, only thing you won was this beautiful scarlet letter. You got the prize money, you got the license with the agency, right? You became one of their clients, and you can't get no work. Like, it's literally a scarlet letter.
And you know what?
But that's not the thing that killed me the most.
But let's just, before we pass on that's Tyra's fault.
Oh, absolutely.
That was Tyra's responsibility to make sure there was a runway after that show to establish. You wouldn't have had to do any of these stunts, Tyra, if you had made sure that there was a runway for these girls outside of the show to make sure that you were creating actual top models that were becoming popular. Right. And people would be coming back for that. They wouldn't need to watch these other things.
And yes.
Tyra,
because she didn't. Because she didn't. So many girls, including the winners, suffered. So that's what hurt my heart the most. Not only does Danny find out like she's got this scarlet letter, she's getting nothing, and literally watching her other housemates get casting calls and all of this shit. and only to find out that once Tyra knew this was happening to her.
She called her and told her that she knew this was happening to her.
And did nothing about it.
She said, I was on the fence about you. And I was like, so when you call her and told her that, Tyra, what was the goal, honey? I would not, if I did some fucked up shit to somebody, I'm not going to call you on the phone and tell you I did it.
Out of that whole documentary, that's the only thing that I think Tyra actually took accountability for. Because she said, like, I should have did better by Danny.
Yeah.
I should have. And to me, out of the entire documentary, that was the only time I felt like I heard Tyra actually admit, like, I was wrong and I should have done better. She didn't say that shit about Shandy. When that whole thing about, she didn't say that shit about Ebony.
Yeah, I think she did do that. I think there's a couple other times where there's an article, I can't remember where it's from, that actually counts how many times she says sorry or apologizes. But at the same time, there's like 3 times.
I'm not even saying sorry. I'm saying, like, I felt like she took accountability for what she did wrong. That to me was like the only time.
I think verbally she took accountability more than like 3 times. But I don't think any of those times she was sincere. I don't think she was sincere about Danny. I did not feel she was sincere.
To me, it might have been the most sincere, and it still was all plastic. But to me, that one felt the most sincere. But you're right.
Yeah, I didn't feel it was sincere at all. And like so we get to the most famous part of the most talked about like thing that like content creators went crazy for in 2020 was the yelling at Tiffany Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tiffany was a contestant, got lost the cycle before, and then came back because she had gotten into a bar fight. Tyra says that they mentored her off camera. That's not what Tiffany says.
Right.
And she takes anger management. She comes back, and then she gets on the show, and she is there. She's in one of those cycles where they're doing all of these crazy, weird challenges,
stunts and stuff.
And so. And on top of it, they don't talk about it in the documentary, but I'm noticing it. They don't have anybody to do her hair.
We're still on this.
Like, Tiffany, like, her root under her weave is, like, sitting at the front of her head.
Yeah, I remember
on
that.
top of her head.
Yeah.
While Tyra is yelling at her.
After she's been eliminated.
Like, through this whole season, she's feeling like she's being humiliated. They get to another challenge. They have them read this stuff on a prompter. And then making fun of the fact that they cannot pronounce the things. Let's be clear of the things that they could not pronounce. They could not pronounce the word Technicolor, which is not a dictionary word. It's a brand. It's a brand of a part of technology that was popular in the 50s. But if you're from a certain generation, that's not a word that you're learning in school. Technicolor is not an actual...
Some schools you learn it in. But that's a different conversation.
We do now, but it wasn't, I don't know if they were doing that in the early 2000s and 90s.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, they're using a word and then the rest of the words are like names of designers and like unless you know a foreign language or you actually know these designers, you may not know their names.
Right.
And so it felt like as we were watching it, and when Tiffany feels it, but she can't verbalize it, but they're setting the girls up to be humiliated.
Yes.
They're trying to embarrass these girls.
And it's working.
And Tiffany's at her root. She's just like, I can't. She simply could not humiliate herself anymore. She had just felt that cap. And as a person of color, we all know it. We all know that moment of like, I can't do this.
Right.
I just can't do this thing that I know I'm expected to do to play the game, but I just cannot do this thing anymore. We know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And she's at that point. She comes off. She is Tyra doesn't feel like they're taking it seriously. She doesn't like how Tiffany is handling this. They decide to cut both the girls at the end of the show. It's the first time they cut 2 girls. Tiffany is like, okay, she felt like she had already accepted it before they even turned it around. I think the only thing is shot was that the other girl was getting sent away too. Like she had already dealt with it. And so the other girls were crying. She was consoling the other girls. She was trying to make them laugh. You know, she was being a good person on the way out the door.
She wasn't being butthole hurt about it.
And Tyra did not like seeing her.
You wanted her to see her fall apart.
Tyra wanted her broken.
Yep.
And like people make excuses for Tyra, and it's like,
Fuck that,
Tyra. I think Tyra felt like she wasn't taking it seriously, or Tyra felt like she was, you know, making a joke of the competition. I was like, girl, you made it a joke of the competition, which you dressed them girls up in meat. So she did all these things, and so she yells the famous line. I've never yelled at a girl like this in my life. It like does the whole speech. Come to find out, that isn't the whole speech. Like she said Tiffany has gone on record and said, Tiffany Richardson has said that Tyra said some awful, awful, vile things to her that was not in that conversation. Jay Emanuel says in a documentary, that is not the entire conversation.
And I cannot
He said, there are things that were said that were not well-intentioned, and there were things that were said that I will never repeat. I was like, so you set that conversation up, Tyra, to make you look good, and you humiliated this girl anyway.
Yeah.
One of the things in the interview was like, she was like, Tyra yelled at me. We were all rooting to you. Her response literally was, bitch, where? And I was like, I got the same question, Tyra.
Right.
Bitch, where? Where were you looking out for these girls?
And after she walks off, everybody goes to console Tyra. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, and here's another. And what's wild about it is that there's a lot of harm that happened throughout the course of all these cycles. The considerable harm that happened to Black girls on end in this, the anthology of this show is insane. When you have a Black woman who has said, right, we're not talking about somebody who's Black who don't see themselves as Black. Tyra sees herself very much as a Black woman, and she's talked ad nauseum about all the struggles she has faced in the modeling and fashion world as a Black woman, as herself. Her forehead's too big, her hips are da-da-da-da, and all of the things. She talked about that shit on her show. My ass is too fat, all of that stuff. So you know all of the words, you know all of the trauma, and you still did it repeatedly, year after year after year after year after year after year. And it happened, and some stuff, I'm not saying the things that happened to the other non-Black, I'm not shading any of that.
No.
I'm just saying, as somebody who carries an identity, it looks just as insidious and twisted for me to inflict the same harm that I had endured, right, as a person who's Black. I'm going to do it to other Black people. Like, it's crazy to me.
It is difficult as a Black man. It's difficult as a Black queer man to watch a Black woman perpetuate this much harm on other Black women.
Yes, that's a great one. Yes. Yes.
It was disturbing.
It was gut-wrenching.
It is literally infuriating to watch it happen. Like, she pretty much, and, you know, I want to get into, like, some of the people that were not scathed. I need somebody to call him into, Your Honor, into the, take the stand. Kenya Barris, where was you? Kenya Barris, yes, creator of Blackish, is a co-creating producer of America's Next Top Model, and he wasn't mentioned not once, not a peep.
Because some people took their earnings, when I tell you they ran, they got nothing to say about this.
I want to know what happened, Kenya.
Where you at? Where you at, Kenya?
Kenya.
Hey, hey, boo.
You step up to the front. I need you to know
all of them ain't, I think... but you know, that would have been a really interesting interview. I would have liked that piece. I wouldn't have liked Janice Dickinson. I think a few things can be true. Yeah. We know what she said about Cosby, and I get all of that, and I support her, and I stand around that particular issue.
And she also could have been a harmful to these women.
She was so harmful and hateful to these women. And there's one more thing I wanted to say. So, because this hurt I used to love America's Top Model, and I think many of us who watched it did. And I agree that the fact when you were so eloquent when you brought up the whole American Idol piece of it, and I noticed as the documentary went on, they went on like, we are giving the girls a chance to become. That's fucked up because you told them if you win, you would be.
Yes. And that's,
right?
and that's the
that's
thing is
crazy
like the
to
girls
me.
that were successful from the show were the girls that treated Top Model as a platform to do other things,
Yes.
not to become a model. The girls that went to become a model are
Got
the ones
nothing.
that had their dreams dashed. And like, well, some girls need to do, you know, you got to do something with the platform. And I was like, that's not fair for them to expect to know that they were supposed to treat this not like a platform when the show is called America's Next Top Model.
Not a chance at being America's Next Top Model.
Like that's like you created with the title alone, you made a promise that you did not keep
At all. And I know, to wrap up my thoughts on this, like this one hurt because even more so, I'm not comparing documentaries to the other people the famous people that we've seen. This one bothers me this much because we all really, genuinely, and earnestly were rooting for Tyra. Like we really, as a Black community, as a Black queer community, as honestly globally, we wanted her to win. We had thought she had broken through these ceilings. And so the fact that you did this, you built this entire empire off of dashing the dreams of girls from places where they're destitute. They can't go back to that. I'm making $8 an hour and you throw me here in Milan with all these people and then you give me right back. And you think I want to go back to that? Like they really messed up.
And it's not even like an issue of like, we didn't fulfill our promise of making you into a top model. It's an issue of being on this show has dashed every hope you will ever become a model.
Right.
Like it literally destroyed their ability or chance or opportunity to become one because of the stigma that it developed.
Oh, and we didn't talk about this, but the trigger warning, y'all. We never talked about the eating disorder piece of it. We can't really get into it now.
So many women came out of eating disorders.
Yes, and even those who were just watching as young girls, who were watching the show for the first time as young girls, and how it was triggering or re-triggering things for them. And it's like, Tyra knew all of this. You knew it and you did it. And really quickly, so all of this was intentional. Mm-hmm. Just like the drama of firing all three of the boys.
Oh my gosh.
My God, at the same time,
so
right?
Miss J, Emanuel, and Nigel Barker, the network has decided that Tyra says that the network said to fire them.
Right.
That's not what happened. The network cut their budget, and Tyra and Ken Mock chose not to take smaller budgets.
Yes. Oh, we know.
Not to take smaller salaries.
No.
And so their decision was to get rid of their salaries.
Regardless of what it was, it looks, in public opinion, you chopped your friends. And you did. Right, you did.
And you did. But you could have given them the courtesy that you promised them, was to put out a statement and say that they would have all had a statement of a departing. But then leaking it?
Look, because I agree with Jay Emanuel on this point, that Tyra likes a good story to zhuzh up and set you up for the next season. Mm-hmm. And I feel like she did that all the way through the cycles with all the craziness she was doing. You fired your boys. That became drama. That fueled it, right? And now I absolutely believe, especially hearing her final words, her final thoughts at this documentary, that she's using this documentary as a springboard to launch again. Like, it's so diabolical and egotistical.
Wait till you see what we do in Cycle 25. I was like, what's Cycle 25? I want to know when the trials are happening.
Right, exactly. Like, when are you getting arrested?
When are we pulling out these old tapes and getting some evidence? When are the testimonies happening?
And shame, Heifer, that you have not gone to see that man since he had a stroke.
Yes.
Shit is...
in 2020.
I know we got to go, but girl.
Yeah. So Miss J Alexander had a stroke that left him in a coma for 5 weeks and then paralyzed and could not talk. Miss J says she still has not seen Tyra. Tyra's still not come to see
this day.
To this day.
I'm disappointed.
And let's be clear that we have seen the documentary and the interviews. They filmed the documentary in early late 2024, early 2025. So a year ago, until this day, she still has not seen him.
Not a phone call, not a peep, not a nothing. She did send flowers that one time. Like, it's crazy.
She sent flowers when the 5 days before they got fired.
Yeah. I can't.
Before they all got fired. And I was like, this is crazy. So, there's a lot of accountability that needs to be taken. I think as a community, I would like for us to stop trying to protect rich Black people and the horrible things that they do to be rich.
Just because they've done a few things correct.
And two things can be true.
Yes.
Giving valid criticism is not tearing someone down.
No.
And I want us to stop using that phrase when we publicly criticize, correctly criticize Black famous people.
And when we get up, when we get famous, us Black people, when we get famous, I still want us to be able to call in each other, particularly if we are friends, particularly if we came up together. We should still be able to call each other in because we go higher that way. And there was no room for accountability to exist because people were either scared, but nobody was calling anyone in. And I'm not saying that things weren't different in 2002 when this thing first started, but we're not going to blame a different generation for the fucked up shit that this cast and this woman did to these people.
We're not
doing that.
We knew then it was wrong. It was wrong then. And it is the only difference is that there is now an avenue for public discourse about it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. It wasn't a different time. It wasn't seen differently. It was, people saw it and were uncomfortable with it. It was messed up then. The only difference now is that social media existed and people could have public discourse about it. And now you have to answer to this public discourse. Mm-hmm. So, that's I think that's where I'm at on all of that.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to know when the civil cases is getting filed. I need some lawyers to find out some grounds.
Because I don't need a cycle, and I don't need a cycle 25. I need to be absolutely clear.
I need I don't want that. Tyra to talk about how much money she has made from owning 25% of the international top model franchise from start to finish, even when she wasn't on the show, when they fired her and replaced her with Rita Ora.
Which was buck wild.
I was like, what?
Why did they do that?
I was like, why did they do that?
That was a mess.
And so, you made a lot of money off of exploiting a lot of women.
Yeah. Around the world.
And not only are you not taking responsibility, there needs to be a economic repair for the damage that you've done.
Well, what goes around comes around. I hear you. That might not happen, but she keeps going with all these great ideas that she thinks she's having. Ain't nobody buying your goddamn ice cream, girl. So go ahead and keep trying to pet on Australia because you moved to the last place where you thought you was going to be safe, and we're going to come for you down there too.
And don't y'all produce this cycle 25.
I'm not doing it.
I mean,
I hope it bombs.
CBS, Paramount, they still probably own it.
I'm not here for it.
They still probably, it's actually on Hulu now, I guess, but they still could
go for
own the franchise.
But after this doc, I don't know, go for it. I'm just not here for it. I am disappointed in Tyra.
Tyra, you did yourself no favors
None.
by getting on here and not answering to anything and being
not
fake.
Not copping to anything.
Not being fake, not being genuine. Looking like Carmen Sandiego.
And y'all, even if you didn't watch this, you didn't watch the documentary, if you listen to our cast, because we did cover so much of it, I think we covered it great, I would ask you to go watch the last 6 minutes of the final episode because Tyra goes into that monologue where she's like, thank you so much for, but it's not thank you so much for calling me out on my shit, and I'm not going to give it away, but it's the way they edit it. Danny's response to
Danny
Tyra,
said,
it is perfection.
Girl, get out of my face.
Girl, and it's just go watch. So if you listen to the entire episode, go watch the last few minutes of that final episode, and you will just it's a great bow. It's a great bow, and they also showcase what all of them are doing now. I was really happy to see with many of the people who are in the documentary what they're doing now.
I'm excited. Really I need to find out what Kenya's modeling agency is.
I know.
I need all the
She
things.
seems like that
First
girl.
of all, I need all of these women to be doing some modeling because these black women looked
gorgeous. Gorgeous down.
I need them all to do that.
Come up here.
But I think we're done for tonight.
It was a strong one. I like this one. It was a good one.
We felt some kind of way.
We did.
What do you want to tell the people?
I want to tell the people, while you are out in the world, just do better because we really are over here rooting for you. Like really rooting for you.
And if you're rooting for me, bitch, where? Like show the evidence.
I know that's right. Show me the evidence.
Show me where.
I'm rooting for you, girl. I got you.
And I want you to know that you are enough just as you are. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.